You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Sun and clouds, scattered thunderstorms around by afternoon. The high 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into a Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. Bob made it through another week, and football, well, it started last week, but there's some decent games last night. If you're an athletic director, do not schedule North Dakota State. If you're a Power 5 team, is a game on Thursday night. Colorado won the game, but that is a bad schedule by a team that's trying to build up their program. I think that was probably the AD that did that, so I want to get that off the chest real fast. 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you'd like to jump in on the show with us this morning. X accounts at Locker Room 109, at Barry Sanderson, at Wimp Sanderson1. Email wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. Get that app downloaded to your smartphone. You can listen to the game while you're at the game if you want to do that, but download that app. And you can send us an app message. You can send us a voice message right there on the app. We appreciate getting those. We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. They make this 7 o'clock hour possible. They do it for us each and every day. And always remember now, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then you don't want it. Chase, we let Dad have an extra day of studying. So in the second hour, he will release his Blue Plate Special, the regular season. So the exhibition is over. A couple of my buddies told their bookies that it was exhibition season. They didn't have to pay, but I don't think they felt like that last week. So I know he'll hit it this week. So we look forward to hearing about that. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning? Good morning, Chase.
I'm been okay. Bill Clark is going to be on, not because UAB played last night, because Bill's a good friend. His dad, he's a good football man, very good. Not going to be coaching, but his dad worked with me at Alabama for a long time. His dad's passed away, but I've had a great relationship with his dad, and I'm glad to have Bill on. I think hopefully everybody will enjoy him, but he'll be on at the bottom of the hour. And then we'll have some if Sonny's not on, we'll have some excerpts from the coaches talking about the team. Before we get to football, Scotty really played great. It was a concern that he doesn't play that course very well, but he started naturally at 10 under. He's now 16 under. It was a 7-shot lead, which is pretty darn good. It'd be hard. He may get caught, but I would doubt it. He certainly just ran X in the ground pretty much. JT was 5 under. He'll make a bunch of money, but he's not going to catch Scotty, who is 16 under. Braves lost 5-4. Let's say Lee Corsman is going to be good, bad, and none of the above at game day. So we'll see what happens there. And the football part of it, the two teams in the conference ran away with everything. Missouri, I think, was 51-0. I think Arkansas was 70-something. UAB won at home in a lightning storm that delayed the game a good while. I tried to watch a lot of the games. Barry's right. Colorado's got a big name, a lot of money hiring him. I think the money is a big thing for us. They didn't have a lot of money for football, so they have that. Whether the team's going to be good or not remains to be seen. North Carolina State got a scare. Western Carolina, they ended up beating them fairly well, but Western Carolina got off to a great start, and it ended up 38-21 with North Carolina State, but very fortunate. One of the better games, I think it was a 2.5-point deal, was North Carolina winning 19-17. game that was predicted to be very, very close. So those are just some of the things that happened. I'll give the Blue Plate the second hour. I pondered over it, looked at it, turned it upside down. It's a hard games. They're hard games to pick, but we'll see what happens there. We welcome your calls. May have left out something that you wanted to ask about, or you may want to comment about the games you saw last night. And if so, we'll be glad if you do that. There are a few games tonight that we'll go over after we discuss probably the best game tonight for you if you want to watch a game. At 6 o'clock, Temple, Oklahoma is the one that has the SEC team in it. I don't know how kind of game it'll be. TCU and Stanford might not be bad, but it's a 9:30 kickoff, so we'll see there. Outside of that, as I said, we welcome your calls. Bill will be on, and we'll see what we're going to do in the second hour.
Yeah, I talked about a couple of days ago, Alabama paying $1.9 million to get in an opponent that will challenge them maybe a little bit. It's a much better game for Missouri. Of course, Murray State's got a new coach. It's his first year. And then for Arkansas to play Arkansas Pine Bluff. And I saw the Missouri line before the game. It was 50, and they won by 51 to nothing. In Arkansas Pine Bluff, I think you got to schedule you some wins, but I think those games do nothing. To win 70 to nothing, like they found out absolutely nothing about their football team. I know it probably didn't cost them as much money, but those are wasted games there, I think. Your opinion on that?
I do agree. I think they are wasted games entirely. No point in playing. Arkansas Pine Bluff, let me say this to you. Arkansas Pine Bluff need the money. They need the money real bad, regardless whether it's $500,000, whatever it is. And if that two athletic directors get together, or if he feels like that he's going to draw a crowd because it's Arkansas versus Arkansas, then that's a little bit of the way that things go down. Behind the scenes, they discuss it and talk about it, and the game is scheduled some years in advance. But if you talk about it as it's today, it looks not very good. Of course, Burr came out and played and won 51 to nothing. So it's good and bad of all kind of football stuff, and we welcome your calls.
Yeah, so I don't know. If it got right down to the bitter end of the season, and they had to choose between two teams, you could penalize them for playing a game like that and take the other team over them. I don't know if that'll happen in the SEC. If you do good enough to be down there, then you probably will get in. But North Dakota State, a really good football program, used to winning 1AA. Boy, oof. Now, you don't schedule them either. They tough team to beat. I tell you, he does has too much flash and all that. Obviously, I'm not breaking any story here, but Deion Sanders' son is some quarterback. He can throw the football and threw for 400 and something yards, and they ended up coming back and winning that game. But those games are tough, right, Dad? You play those 1AA teams that win a lot of championships. They're used to winning. They feel like they can win this game, and they played. They made Colorado's defense in the first half look pathetic. They stiffened up there a little bit in the second half. But that was a tough opener for Colorado.
I think the crowd certainly helped Colorado. I mean, there's one time I talked about the money. The crowd came in there and gave them some life because they were fighting from behind for a while, and we'll see what kind of season Colorado has. I'm not sure it's going to be the kind of season that they expect it to have. We're going to have Max on. We've changed Max because of Monday being Labor Day. We won't be on. Max is going to be on next Wednesday, so he can tell you. I mean, you may have talked to him. I don't know.
Well, they got a really hard schedule. If you look at their schedule, it's there is no cupcakes whatsoever. Up in they next weekend they go to Nebraska, So we'll see.
The injury bug too is such a big factor in the 12 teams that get in. North Carolina lost Max Johnson, I think, last night. At least he was carted off. I jumped back and forth on that game, and in a 19-17 win. So so you got to be so fortunate. You got to have a little luck that you don't get one of your star kids hurt. So I noticed where Wisconsin has added Jack Del Rio to this. They're doing everything they can to get the Luke's team ready to play, and the Luke's team ready to play. It'll be interesting to see Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's an analyst, but we know the analyst now can have a pretty big role in college football.
One game at a time, I know that.
All right, we'll take the first break here. We've got some phone calls coming in. We'll get to those when we get back. 2 Minute Truck, they're great friends here. They're out at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need as you prepare to make this local, out of town, out of state, or you just need stuff moved around the house. They will take great care of you and your stuff. They'll take the stress from moving away from you. 205-247-5050 for the free estimate. That is 2 Minute Truck Movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Republican Congressman Robert Aderholt, who represents much of West Alabama, is blasting the revised indictment for President Trump just 2 months before the election. In a social media post, Aderholt calls the actions of Special Counsel Jack Smith an obvious effort to weaponize the judicial system in an attempt to influence the upcoming election. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's absolutely free all throughout the day. Don Hertley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We've got the holiday travelers out in full spring for your Labor Day, by the way, TGIF. And watch out for heavy brake lights on 2059 westbound before Buttermilk Road. Gonna knock out that left lane, so go ahead and make your way on over to the right lane to get by. But for your holiday travels, for
Howard teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Where a handshake still means something. Shop online at Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa.com or at 3200 Skyland Boulevard. Roll Tide for Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Build the 5-star backyard. There's only one choice. That would be Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer closest to you. All right, to the Yellowwood hotline to get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Coach. How are y'all?
Good, bud.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. You know, I was looking at the scores from yesterday. I don't, you know, it looks like Scotty's going to run off and hide with the thing this morning with the scores posted that, you know, he started with 10 under. And he added to it. Not many others added as much as he did to his score. But yesterday we were kind of talking about, or I heard somebody talking about the Tour Championship. You know, first place is $25 million. $25 million. He's going to be the first golfer to go over $50 million in a season if he wins it.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's,
Sure he will.
I'm sure he will win it. I mean, there would have to be some incredible things happen for him not to at this point, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's playing. He played so well yesterday, and you know he got. You know what? The funny part about it was he makes bogey on the first hole, and X makes birdie, and he gets tied walking off hole number one. So you just say, "Uh-oh," and it changed.
I read what you said earlier, Coach, that he doesn't particularly play that course that well. And I had read some things last week that they had made some changes to the course. But evidently it's not a drastic change like they did at Pinehurst. I think, that's the Donald Ross at Pinehurst. East Lake is a Donald Ross. And, they got into this thing about, we're going back to the original thinking of Donald Ross at Pinehurst. And they, in my estimation, ruined the course. And but they didn't go as drastic at East Lake based on what I've read about that. And but, I didn't realize this, that Bobby Jones grew up right across the street from East Lake Country Club. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I knew that was a real bad area, and they went in and redid it, redid the whole area, made it a lot nicer, a lot safer for people. I think what happened yesterday was the players said that the course, regardless of the toughness of the course was in such great shape.
Right.
They had gotten the thing in such great, and that's so important that the course, they felt like that they had set the pins at a little bit easier spots, made it a little bit more attractive to all of them, and the course was in great shape. That's what I got out of there.
Well, the course looked pretty to me. The grass is green. It ain't all that crap. Oh, we're not going to waste any water. Hey, you're in the South. There's plenty of water down here. By God, the golf course ought to be green. Quit that crap of letting the grass die and all like that. That's stupid. And but that course over there, it was absolutely lush and beautiful, and it should be. It's a country club.
Yeah. And
all this stupid stuff of stuff being dead and all like that, that gets on my last nerve. Does it, you, Coach?
Yeah, it doesn't, not necessary to do that. Basically, most of the time, unless there is a water problem, as far as you shouldn't have a course if you got a water problem. But if you don't have a water problem,
well, I can see that out in Arizona. But I mean, you throw a horseshoe out the back door in the southeastern United States and hit water. My God Almighty, it's plumb ignorant to them be talking like that. But anyway, I didn't want to go on a rant. I want to talk about that, and I found it interesting that that's where Bobby Jones grew up across the street from that country club, and that's where he learned to play golf. I thought that was
I didn't know
a good story.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
I thought you might find that interesting. You're a Bobby Jones fan like I am, right?
Yeah, sure I am, because I'm a golf fan. If you're not a Bobby Jones fan, you're not a real golf fan, I guess. Unless you're real young and really don't know a lot about it.
Well, yeah, and if you read, if you like historical things about something that you like, golf is something I like. You see his part of amateur golf, the part he played in promoting amateur golf, his role at promoting amateurs at Augusta. I thought that was a great trademark of his, and so forth and so on. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up. Barry mentioned something about the payout. And I want to let him know it's 25. It's 2.5 times more now than it was when JT won it.
Yeah, JT shot a 5 under yesterday. So
if you over there, if you're in that 30, you listen to this. You know what last place pays?
What?
$550.
$550,000. Yeah. Well,
right.
Only had one guy. We only had one person over par.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, see y'all. Have a good weekend. Happy Labor Day.
You too. All right, back up to the Yellowwood Hotline. Hey, Philip.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Okay.
Good. Hey, I'll tell you a game that could go either way tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it upset. I wouldn't be surprised to see Stanford beat TCU tonight.
I don't really know. That's a good question. That's something you know more about than I do. I know that Stanford probably does not take a lot of transfers because of the academic part of it. If their presidents and their people hold them to the line, those Stanfords and Vanderbilts don't take many. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. I like to blame it on that when I missed. So, but you know more about that game than I do. I really don't know a lot about it.
Well, not really. I just know that I just know that last year Colorado had a really big lead on Stanford, and Stanford ended up beating them. Not that was anything monumental, but I think people get caught up in what happened rather than what is, and I think everybody's looking at the TCU of 2 years ago and not looking at the TCU of now. So I think that'll be a good game tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Stanford won. I thought the game last night with North Carolina and Minnesota was about as evenly matched a ball game as you can get.
Oh, it really was. And, it's bad North Carolina lost their quarterback. I don't know how bad he is, but they lost him.
It did not look good. It did not look good at all. But, well, Barry, what are you looking for tomorrow, man?
Well, it just I'm excited about it being Coach's first game there, and just see if they can play a clean game. And I want to see this defense, this 4-2-5. They talk about these guys can come from everywhere and see if they create pressure on the quarterback. I don't think Alabama's put a lot of pressure on the quarterback the last couple of years. So, and I don't think they've created a lot of turnovers. So I've heard some of the defensive guys talking about being ball hawks and wanting to go after the ball. So we'll just see what they do. And hopefully we get to see a little bit of the backup quarterback. I know people always love the backup quarterback. Not that I don't love Jalen Milroe, but I've heard how much Ty Simpson has improved. And so I hope he gets an opportunity to get out there and play some meaningful snaps where they let him actually run the offense so we can kind of see how much he has improved. And if you're at the game and they put him in, you ought to give that guy a standing ovation for staying, because not many people would have done that in this situation.
You got that right. Well, I think we'll see a few philosophical changes tomorrow that will be different from when Coach Saban was there, and I think that will be one of them. I think you'll see Ty Simpson and Jalen basically, I think if it's possible, I think they'll play pretty much equal amount of snaps.
You just probably depends on the score. Yeah, it depends on the score and how it's going. I don't. Maybe they'll have a package for him. Coach has been pretty close to the vest about names and who's doing what and how he's going to play them. And so it kind of. I love Coach DeBoer, but his interviews, you don't really get a lot out of him and I don't blame him. He's just not giving you a lot of information. And I did see where I guess now, and I think Dad had said it. Maybe he knew it was coming, that they have to turn in these injury reports now for SEC basketball, baseball, and football. I think it's 3 days prior, and then there's another injury report they have to turn in pretty close to the game. So I think it's all for
let me tell you this for both of you. I had a visit yesterday with a football coach who I really respect, and he said that the practicing on Sunday and taking Monday off was the best way to do it. He said there is no doubt it's the best way. He went through all the scenarios. I'm not going to take time to do all that with you, but he said in some instances, he said Nick Saban kind of cheated a little bit. He did that, but he kind of practiced both times, but he kind of worked it, but it was very interesting to me. He went up. I can't get over the thing he said, but he said it was a good move.
Well, it ought to be fun, and I was sorry to hear about Coach Saban's mom passing away. And
she did. I didn't know.
Yeah, it must have happened last night. It was. I saw a lot of people. Put stuff out about it last night.
She stayed right around the corner from me down here at a nursing home.
Yeah, so I wonder if he'll be on game day tomorrow with all that going on. So
yeah, I wondered about that myself. I bet he will. I bet he will.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Philip.
Take care, guys.
All right, we'll take the break here. We'll get to Coach Bill Clark, who's the former coach at UAB. We'll talk a little college football with Coach. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We've got the holiday travelers out in full spring for your Labor Day, by the way, TGIF. And watch out for heavy brake lights on 2059 westbound before Buttermilk Road. Gonna knock out that left lane, so go ahead and make your way on over to the right lane to get by. But for your holiday travels from today.
With December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on secret
cletidine test under high-load conditions versus API-SP test limits.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A partly sunny sky today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms developing again this afternoon and early tonight. The high today 95, tonight's low 73. Tomorrow a mix of sun and clouds. Scattered thunderstorms around by afternoon. The high 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern who makes this 7 o'clock hour possible. We'll get right up to the Yellowwood hotline. The former coach at UAB was at Jacksonville State. He graduated from Jacksonville State. They had a tough game last night against Coastal Carolina. But Coach Bill Clark. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Well, morning. I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
I want to introduce him because Reagan, his dad, and I worked together. We worked, Barry, at a time when we had to call the players between 11 and 12 o'clock in the morning to see if we were going to practice in the afternoon or at night because we didn't have an indoor facility, and football may have to practice at Foster.
You couldn't text them? You couldn't text them?
Oh, crap, ain't no text. Reagan and I spent our life trying to figure out, because I was assistant coach, whether we was going to practice in the afternoon. We couldn't find half the players, and equipment was here. You talk about a football era. You talk about being football over basketball. It wasn't even close. Bill, you know how much I cared for you, your dad. We were about as close as we could be, and appreciate you being on.
Well, he talked the world of you, Coach, and I appreciate that.
Coach, Coach DeBoer's era starts tomorrow. I seem to be very comfortable in his own skin, very comfortable in the way that he does things. He thinks it's worked at all levels, really. And so it's been a pretty smooth transition as far as maybe the greatest coach in college football going out with Coach Saban, where everybody likes Coach. Now, even all the SEC schools are claiming Coach Saban. But just talk about Coach DeBoer and what you've seen with him coming in the transition.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think anytime you've been to all these different places, and I always use the term more with less. I think guys that have had to find a way, and you can check that out by seeing what they do along the way, which means everywhere they go, they find a way to have success. And of course, there's some places, as we all know, that are easier than others to have success. But this is a little bit different animal. I think just the question will be, as it would be for anybody, it's always hard to follow a legend. You know, whether you're talking about Coach Bryant, now you're talking about Coach Saban, so that's going to be hard. They've got all the tools in place. I think he is equipped from all of his experiences, but you know the magnified pressure, as we know of Alabama, and that reputation. I mean, that's will be, we'll see as we go, but I don't think there's any doubt he's a good coach.
Sure, that.
Well, I think he comes in with maybe the kind of personality, maybe a little bit like yours, in that everybody around him feels comfortable with him. Now, you're going to make other people uncomfortable, and you should. There are times that players are going to be uncomfortable with you, and they should. I think they should.
Yep.
So, but I think based on his personality, that's going to help. Now, as far as the technical part of it, the only thing I'm interested in, I know nothing about football, is the swarm defense. I think, and you're not getting on here to coach anybody's team. I got all that. So I'm thinking that he'll get to the quarterback a lot, but I'm also thinking that Coach looked like he was going to blitz, but he never did. And sometimes he might give up big plays in the swarm defense. I don't know if that's the only thing I'm thinking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're talking about, the
4-2, the 4-2-5.
Yeah.
4-2-5.
Well, I think just from you call things different ways. I think you got with Saban, Coach Saban, you had a defensive mastermind, and I think so that's the things. And there's this defensive philosophy versus offense philosophy. I love, it's kind of like I always get, well, you're a defensive coach. And I said, well, not really. I started out, as an offensive coach, and that formulated when I became a defensive coordinator and then became a head coach. But all those things that go with the defense and the special teams and all that, that's what you always want to see, especially when the head coach is so involved in the offense. I know Coach Womack, I've known Kane for a while, have not coached with him, always been impressed with him, but that's the stuff I think we all want to see, or all, I say we, I think all fans want to see, and I'm a fan of all football, so, it's just going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I think the fact that they've had such great recruiting, and that's going to be the question of how all that is used. But I think that is a question mark when you lose the head coach that was such a defensive mastermind.
Well, I think also the defensive backs are brand new, and that's what Coach coached. I think they're changing some of the things that they do with the defensive backs, which I know nothing either. So I know that Western Kentucky comes in throwing the football a lot, so that part interests me about the game.
Yeah, I mean, I know Coach Helton, we played against each other. If you'll go back and look at those guys the last few years, they've had some, to your point, some dynamic offenses. They had their quarterback just a few years ago, ended up with the Patriots. I guess I don't know if he's still there or not, but I mean, this guy, they know offense, so they're going, I would assume they, don't know what they've got this year, but they should have something to maybe give them a test. Obviously it's not the SEC, but that'll be a good chance to look at those DBs.
Coach said they've gone through a spring now. These guys haven't coached these guys in the game. And I'm sure they've looked at a lot of film. But guys get better, obviously, from their freshman year to their sophomore year. And some guys are just gamers, man. When they get in the game, they play much better than they practice. And some guys practice much better than they play in the game. So I would think an opponent like Western Kentucky, maybe Alabama can find some of those things out. I'm not sure Missouri and Arkansas found out anything last night, winning 70-0 and 51 to nothing. I think it's probably a perfect first game for Alabama, one that they should win, but they will find out a lot about their personnel and their depth chart after this first game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'd like a game one to be somebody that gives you a little bit of challenge. I think game one is so tricky. And I know Coach would probably agree, whatever sport we're talking about. You think you know your team, but all you can base it on is what you've seen. And the guys, game lights and game time changes a lot of stuff, as we know. And so just, how do we handle all the situations? We've got the new communication. We've got the new iPads on the sideline. We've got a new system. How do we handle all that? And that's with a little bit better opponent probably than those you spoke of last night. So that's what you want to see, game one.
Yeah.
We had the officials on. We had Steve on the other day talking about the dot on the helmets of the 15 seconds and somebody told me, a football guy told me yesterday, said it's not going to affect offense much because the quarterback's going to be running the show anyway. Defensively, it might change things. And the tablets, you've really got to be a little bit more organized than you have been in the past, I think.
Yeah, I think the communication, one, I do think it's going to be very interesting how you use it defensively, because we had all just gotten the habit of having everybody look to the sideline and getting the defensive call because offenses play so fast. So, I mean, we did that years and years ago. Of course, I still remember 70s dad running no huddle. So that, as I always said, that wasn't something that was just invented yesterday. I do think it has become so prevalent, I should say. But I think helmet communication for the defense will be very interesting. I don't think offense will be a huge change. I do think, and we could probably talk about this the whole show, about the stealing of signs and whatnot. Maybe that cuts that down, because you've got less, signing because it's all going into the helmet per se. But the tablets will be very interesting because unlike the NFL where they're getting a still shot, I mean, they're getting actual film, TV copies. So there's just going to be more information, and I love to see how they, does that really make you want to change series to series more, knowing they've just looked exactly at what you just did in the last series?
Bill, I think in all aspects, away from the football field and on the football field, the money we're giving them, we're turning college football a little bit towards pro football. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I feel that way because they're giving, if Coach Bryant were to wake up and find out that they give him that kind of money, I gave him $15 a month. I was the guy who handed out the checks, $7.50 every 2 weeks, and quite different.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. I think, one, if you're going to be in this world, you've got to be able to compete. You've got to, this is what it is right now. I mean, I think we all would just like to see the parameters. The big thing that bothers me out of all of it, even less, I know this sounds crazy, but less about the money, but the tampering and you got a guy on your roster. This is just the coaching spot where a guy, has a great game one, and then here you go game two, and this kid should be feeling good, and he's not. And then you find out later some other schools called him. Maybe got his high school coach called, got somebody else to call him, and they start recruiting him off your roster.
Yeah.
And that's going on like mad. And that's the stuff that just, no wonder these kids' heads are messed up, and all the things that, that we all grew up, the things I learned from my dad and things that you taught, Coach, and things I want to teach. I don't want to lose that, and just making them better people. And, so that's the stuff for me. I would love to just get a handle on that as much as we could.
I don't think people listening to this show realize what you just said about a guy playing well, and the minute he gets through playing well, his uncle calls because he's gotten a call from another coach to tell him he can make money at the other place. That goes on.
Yeah, you got to think tomorrow. There's a couple of Western Kentucky players probably thinking, man, if I play really, really well against Alabama, that's going to help my stock. I'll be able to go somewhere and maybe make a little more NIL money. And then you look at like UAB plays last night. If that guy plays really, really well, then he can transfer up. Coach, if you were coaching a team now, and say you were at Alabama, you got these 4- and 5-star guys that are freshmen here. Would you try to get them in the game here if you could get them in? Because, if they don't play at all, then what Sunday they're calling home. They don't understand. It's a long journey. Would you worry about that at all and trying to keep these guys a little bit happy if you can get them in the game, get them in now and coach a little bit differently because of how easy it is for these guys to just pack up and go after a season?
I think, one, you worry about everything. And I don't mean that funny. I mean, it's just there's nothing. Just as game time starts, I know coaches probably the same way, even after all these years, you just get, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You start getting that nervous energy. That's just how I stay. And you worry about everything. You worry about every player. But I think that's why these games, game one, it is good to have a team like that where you can get everybody in the game if you can. I mean, within reason. I mean, the more people we play, the better. You always want to play as many as you could. And when you play a team that's a little lesser than, you've got a chance to get them in. And that was the harder thing coming from a level like UAB. You had almost everybody on your schedule was equal to, and then of course you had a bye game, who is better than. You don't have a ton of those kind of games, and maybe you get one like UAB had last night where you can get everybody in because the morale of your team is so important. And if you could just get them in that one game, plus you want to see them, how do they play in the game, et cetera. But just morale is important. And in this world, I really think that whole deal of this guy, I don't know if anybody is worried now as much about, all right, this guy at the end of the year may be looking, okay, we're starting to expect that it's the week 2 and the week 3 and the week 4 where they're taking calls. Like we said, the uncle, that's something we need to work on. But yeah, I think the more people you get in, obviously the better for morale.
But doesn't the 12-team playoff kind of help these teams still keep hope? Like Florida State, they lost. They still got hope. I mean, to get in the Final Four, it's almost one more loss, and that's out the window now. But I would think there's going to be so many more teams that have an opportunity to get into this 12, so you don't lose hope after one loss. That's got to help you getting your team ready to play each and every week, don't you think?
I do. I think it's so good for just the game. I really do, because I think it's just like if you're a teacher in class and you give that kid an F, week one and you tell them there's no way they're going to pass.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of student are they going to be? They're going to be the biggest problem you have in the classroom. When I know that I've got a chance for the ultimate goal, I think that's just good. I think it's great for football. It makes every week more important. And, you know, that first loss is not just a killer as much. Now, 2 losses probably, maybe, but I think that's just good. I think having more teams gives more opportunity and just going to make it more exciting because I come from the playoff world, being an old high school coach, and of course grew up talking about basketball and getting ready for the tournament and all those things. You know, that was things I always put with my teams as we got ready for the playoffs. But I think the 12-team playoff is really good.
Yeah.
We've got, which I don't particularly care. I guess I'm old school. Teams jumping from one league. When I'm thinking about somebody like Oregon jumping into the Big Ten, I can't fathom that SMU going to the ACC. And I guess Oklahoma and Texas okay at SEC, but we've really changed. We've taken away the eastern part of the United States. To me, with the ACC is kind of defunct a little bit. No, actually, taking away the western side with the Pac-10 gone. It's and the Big 12 got so cotton picking many teams that comment on that a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, I think we're going to need a scorecard to keep up with all of it, and I couldn't tell you, where some of these people are, and I think that's the thing when you're in your world of coaching. It's you really got your focus narrowed down to. But we all grew up with those rivalries and alignments, and it's just going to take some getting used to. I got my own show now that I've started doing, and so I've had to really get out there and start studying and looking, but it's going to be different. I think there's going to be some great matchups, and I think we're just going to have to see how this year goes, and of course I don't think it's going to stop where it is right now. I think it's going to evolve some more.
Tell you what, go ahead, Barry.
I think that. And maybe you'll have too many guys, but, the new NCAA rule that allowing these analysts to coach, and I saw where Wisconsin just hired Jack Del Rio, but I'm hoping these coaches will hire some younger guys now coaching. It'll give them an opportunity to get some on-the-field coaching experience that will help their careers there. I hope these jobs don't go you got to have guys with a lot of experience as well, but this is an opportunity for a guy maybe to break into coaching now with these new rules that may not have had these opportunities in the past.
Yeah, I'm just always been such a fan of coaches and, obviously being a coach's son and how important coaches are to their players and are to their sports. I think opportunity for coaches, that was a rule I just did not like. And I really thought there was just such inequity in some teams had so much money and were able to have 100 and something staff. And then you got, some of us with, you're trying to find kids off the street to help coach or be part of it. And, who's on the field, who's off the field. And I like that this has been changed, let's just give them an opportunity. Because I think the coaches, the more coaches we have, the better, because I think you start talking about a 125-man roster. Let's look at basketball. Look how many coaches we have per player, and then we go to football. So I think that's a good thing. I think it's good. It's just good, more interaction, and then to your point, more opportunity for young guys to get into the field.
Yeah.
Well, I know you got out because of the bad back, but you did a terrific job. And I think your job not only was winning, but also your communication with everybody was terrific. And I'm sorry to see you get out, but tell our listeners what you're going to do, and at least you're going to stay close to it. I don't know if you'll ever get back in football or not. That's none of my business, I guess, but talk a little bit about the future for you.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, I appreciate that. I had a back fusion 2 years ago, and it was my second surgery, and I just literally got where I couldn't stand more than about 5 minutes, and it's not too good to be having to kneel down at practice all the time, and made it through the BYU game and found out in the spring I was going to have fusion and ended up retiring. Fusion went great. I feel the best I felt. I can't remember feeling this good. So,
great.
Jocks and I came together, and Pat Smith, Landon Roberts, and I are on their show on Mondays, and then Thursday I have my own show. It's Bill Clark podcast radio show, comes on Thursday nights, and then I think Friday and Saturday some. But you can find that on all their websites. But it's been good for me. It's got me back talking to coaches, talking about the game, studying. I've said I'm feeling good, so I'm gonna really look maybe about getting back in it. It would have to be the perfect situation, for them. I'd have to be a good fit for somebody, but I'm not closing that door because I do feel good. But I'm really enjoying the chance to talk ball, and really appreciate you guys asking me to be on today. It's always so good to be on with you, Coach, and Barry. You guys just do a great job, but just fun to talk ball again.
Well, if you get another opportunity, you don't have to make him defense coordinator, but Dad'll be an analyst. He'll come out there and try to coach a little defense.
No, I'll just tell you what you did wrong.
He brags about when he was coaching the baseball team here. He said they had two no-hitters in the same day.
Well, back-to-back no-hitters, Barry. Nobody appreciates it.
So certainly he can coach football, too. He thinks he can coach it all. So maybe you can hire him.
Me and you will commiserate over tough coaching dad. And all the stories we could probably both tell.
Yes, we could, no doubt.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there's Bill Clark. What a good guy he is. All right, we'll take the break here. Open the phone lines 205-342-9904. Chase, the blue plate's coming in the second hour, towards the end of the second hour. We'll get that tweeted out. We'll make sure you put his record 0-0. People will be questioning that, but I gave him a free pick last week, even though he blew it. That game was over. That game wasn't even worth watching. And I've got a dilemma, guys. Y'all going to have to help me with this, Dad and Chase. So Jenny wanted to know, do I want to go to the game tomorrow and take Mac? And I'm like, ugh. Not really. And so I'd say, well, I don't mind you going. If you want to take, if Mac wants to go, of course, when you ask Mac, do you want to go? What's he going to say? Yeah, he wants to go. So I said, well, I'll try to find you 2 tickets. Are you going to be mad if I don't go? And she said, no, she would not be mad if I didn't go. Is she lying there?
Yeah, I don't know. She may be okay about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if it's close, I don't know. That's a bad. I don't have an answer to that.
So I tried to tell her that you and I have to study these games. So if I'm at the Alabama game, I cannot watch the Notre Dame Texas A&M game, and I'm not doing this show any service, Jays. I got to stay home and watch the game. So if anybody's got 2 tickets out there, lower bowl. That they want to get rid of, then Jenny and Mac would love to go to the game. So I told her I was going to have to find her tickets. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to be in trouble not going. So anybody wants to call and give me some advice or how to handle that, or maybe 2 tickets. If you got a box ticket, 3 of those, and I can sit there and watch the game, then I might consider that. But Chase, I need some. Chase, is she lying when she says she won't be mad?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's gonna be hot out there.
Yeah, you got to be careful if you go out there. I wouldn't go, especially if you got to look out for other games. But you might be in the doghouse.
There you go. All right, you guys can let us know. 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning at 9 a.m., it's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show, and you know what that means. We're getting you ready for the weekend. We got college football galore. We'll recap Thursday night's action, look ahead to Friday night and Saturday's action as well. We'll begin our Bama football trivia contest giveaway. Phone call, special guest. It is going to be juiced on Friday morning on the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, we're doing pretty good in the area. However, we got a little something in Cottondale. This is a fender bender on 2059 westbound before Buttermilk Road. It's in the left lane, so go ahead and scooch on over to your right lane to get by. And I do have some good news for your Labor Day travels. From today until
Qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by defensive lineman Tim Smith. Who on the offensive line has made you better getting ready for this year?
Definitely that middle three. I'll say our whole offensive line, because all of them are competing. I feel like it's more of a pride thing. Like we just got done speaking about. I'm a 5th-year senior, so a lot of those guys are young, and it's like, I can't keep letting this old head beat me. But at the same time, I got the mindset I ain't finna let this young dude beat me. So it's like everybody really sharpening each other. Like in that first shot that I gave, that interior three, Parker, quick, fast, and strong. And then, we got Big Jane and Big Book on both sides. So, hey, man, it's a struggle. It's a battle for sure.
I'll have more in a moment.
Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965 by Hal and Melissa Guthrie, Guthrie's was America's first chicken finger restaurant. Guthrie still uses the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe in every chicken finger they serve. Fresh, hot, and fast. Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers has been Alabama owned and operated since 1965, and Guthrie's is still growing strong. Come see us soon. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered for Crimson Tide football on Saturday in the season opener against Western Kentucky. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Central, with radio coverage starting at 3 o'clock across the network, as well as the Varsity Network app. And don't forget the booth cam streaming live as well, presented by Yay Alabama on all CTSN social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
Some tragic news from the NHL, where 7-time All-Star Johnny Gaudreau, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and his younger brother Matthew were killed when they were reportedly biking and struck by a vehicle driven by a suspected drunk driver Thursday night. Johnny Gaudreau won the Hobey Baker Award as college hockey's top player while at Boston College. He was 31. Matthew Gaudreau was 29. He also played at Boston College. NFL news, the San Francisco 49ers and wide receiver Brandon Ayuk agree on a 4-year contract extension worth $120 million. $76 million is guaranteed. Top 25 college football wins for number 11 Missouri, 12th ranked Utah, number 22 Kansas, and 24th ranked NC State, who had to rally in the fourth quarter to beat Western Carolina. Non-top 25 games of note: Colorado beat North Dakota State 31-20.
DEAL or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. He's my agent. Let him become yours. He'll help us kick off this 8 o'clock hour. He's out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. You're looking for home life, auto, whatever you need. Andrew and his staff will take absolutely great care of you. Please give him a call today, 205-722-9201. All right, Dad, in coaching, I think you try to find things, not to make players happy, but there are certain things I think that they do enjoy. And I think one of the things is that this Alabama football team is enjoying is practicing early. Coach talks about they're done by about 11:30, and then they do their classes and all that in the afternoons, and then they're fresh and done. So instead of going to class, coming in there and practicing in the middle of the afternoon, and then having to go to study hall and all that. So it kind of, when you were doing it, early morning practices, guys maybe dreaded it at first, but then once it was over, like they were happy that they had it behind them. So we got a clip here of Coach talking about why he does that and I want you to listen to it and then give me your opinion of what Coach has to say. Here's Coach DeBoer about why he practices early.
We talked about this in a setting the other day. I think the initial thought of some is that early practice time is to try to beat the heat. That may be the case in high school, summer, or the start of camp back in the two-a-days times. As I was out there today, as your squad was at 9 o'clock, there is no beating the heat in Alabama. No. But that's really just a small part. I apologize because I know you've discussed this in other formats, but for our audience here, could you share the philosophy and why the early starts do take place?
Well, I think just to really summarize, I think it just maximizes what you get out of the day. Our guys are there before 7, and that's really when they got to check in. Most of them are there probably right after 6 o'clock, 6:30, and there's some that are there. So maximizes what they get out of the day. It's, academics in the afternoon. Once they get past practice, I think they feel really good about a sense of accomplishment when they have practice behind them already by 11:15, 11:30, and they get 3 good meals because they're eating breakfast before practice, they're eating lunch after, and they're eating dinner right now as we speak. So, I think it maximizes what they're putting into their bodies, what they're getting out of the day, whether it's football related or not.
What's different about this week?
All right, so there was, so they get to the building. You got to check in. Then I'm sure they have breakfast, and then they have meetings. You don't want to go practice right after you eat breakfast. But that 11:15, Dan, you're probably like, whew, that's over. Now I can go on the rest of my day. If I don't have many classes, I can kind of kick my feet up and relax a little bit. Just your thoughts about what he said there.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect your classes. If you have morning classes, I think it's great. I think he gave the right answer. It maximizes your day. It means that your day is more prepared in your day. You get more out of your day. I'm sure when he first started practice that years ago he did it the other way everybody else does it now, and then he tried the morning deal and liked it. So, I'm sure his thoughts have been about how he has done it in the past with the teams that he's had. And I think once, as you commented, once you get used to that, you like it. The first week you're questioning it a little bit, and you go in there a little bit out of sorts. But outside of that, I think if they feel like if they get a lot more out of it in their practice sessions and it does not affect their schoolwork, then I think that's great.
One of the positives I'm sure is if I got practice early in the morning, I'm probably getting to bed at a decent time. I'm not going to be out doing things, being out late. Now, one of the negatives is, these guys don't live in athletic dorms anymore. These guys are living all over Tuscaloosa there. Guys' alarms don't go off. Car won't start. If it's in the afternoon, you got time to make some adjustments and get them there. But if it's in the morning, guys will sleep through alarms. They put a PM instead of an AM as far as getting up. So then you have to handle that. So if a guy comes in, he's late, sleeps through, that's something you have to deal with. Which I don't think you really have to deal with that as much during afternoon practices.
Back in the day with Coach Bryant, we had Paul Bryant Hall, and if things were going bad, you had morning practice. It was a penalty. You didn't have a lot of them, but to get your attention, they would have one occasionally. If things weren't going good in practice the day before, they would have that. The one thing that Coach Bryant, I listened to hear talk about, had a fight. You never fought in practice. And I know this goes against what we're talking about, but their practice sessions, sometimes you hear where they got in a fist fight. When you got real trouble. He had a real thought about that he didn't want people fighting and slugging each other in practice. He wanted to save the energy for the game. So a little bit different what we tried to do, and just the coaches, it's just different ways to do it. And as all of you know, things have changed through the years. I don't know that our listeners realize what goes on behind the scenes with other coaches calling the uncles or whoever they might, the coach that they had in high school after they played well at a smaller school, and being darn sure that that guy knows that they want them for next year, and they'll give them some money, or even at a larger school. The stuff behind the scenes is something that, you know, we don't think about, we don't talk about. We know it happens, but it happens to a big extent.
I also think there are guys with Western Kentucky that, man, if I play well, these Alabama coaches are watching me. I see what their guys are getting NIL-wise. We're just barely making it here, so this is my opportunity to get to the next level, I guess, is what you say in Division I.
I think their parents, their old coach, or their daddy or their uncle, who doesn't care what he says, you know, play well, and you'll be getting some calls at this game.
Play well, and you'll be driving well next year. So,
wow, that's as Bill mentioned, that's hard to swallow, hard to handle. Especially, you know, if you're at a place like he was, where it's a drop down, and even if you're, you know, at a major place, major guys won't good play. Major guys make mistakes too. Major schools want good players too, that they've made a mistake on, and that's the reason I was interested in seeing how things were acted in the spring. If your spring practice wasn't the way you thought it was going to be, how you're going to react between the rest of that year trying to get out of there. Barry, can you if you're dissatisfied and can't get out in spring practice, when's the next time you can get out, transfer?
Football, well, it'll be December the 9th is when the portal will open for 30 days. So you can't leave in the middle of the semester. So anyway, because you got to get your classes and all that. But, you know, it's like Alabama basketball. They've taken a guy from Furman who came in here and played really well. So they got a chance to see him. So they look at him and say, is that freshman going to be better than him? He's taking 2 years to develop there at Furman. We'll take him when he gets in the portal. So when you play these teams, these coaches they're evaluating all of these guys, now as they go through it. All right. Michael says, guys, on the Jenny and Mac, it's a trap. He's saying that Jenny would not trap. It's a trap. Tread lightly, Godspeed, and best of luck, sir. Also got a text, actually from her mama, says she's baiting you. What? Surely not. I still only need 2 tickets. I'm not falling for that. Jenny's better than that.
Well, she can get, if you go, you can get the tickets right outside the gate.
Huh? Yeah, but she can't, but she ain't good like that. She gets nervous, and, you know, people rip you off with Venmos.
Tell her not to buy any Coca-Colas or popcorn.
Oh, that's why I need to get her in that, I need to get in that zone area. She's sitting up in there that it's all you can eat and drink. But I'm not.
What kind of area is that?
It's a glass area, and they got buffets and food and ice cream and cookies. And Mac would love that.
Put her in the zone area, then you got it made.
Yeah.
You got anybody that's got some pull, put you in the zone area?
That's why I'm trying to appeal to listeners. I mean, it's Western Kentucky, guys. Y'all ain't using all these tickets. And, you know, you got a little 8-year-old boy just dying to go see Coach DeBoer's first game. So
here we go.
Help a brother out. His daddy's got to stay home and work. I got to watch the Notre Dame game. Is Notre Dame going to win that game? Or Texas A&M? Or that might be the blue plate. I don't want to ask you that yet. All right, we'll take the break. We'll see if we can find Coach Sonny Smith. And you guys can help me out through this 205-342-9904. People talking about it as a trap. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM, WTBC is the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're nice and smooth across the area for the most part. Now you will have your typical slow ups from time to time. McFarland, that's starting to get a little patchy between Watermelon and 43. And we're also looking at a little bit of patchiness on Skyline Boulevard. Not much at all.
Or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is
critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A partly sunny sky today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms developing again this afternoon and early tonight. The high today 95, tonight's low 73. Tomorrow a mix of sun and clouds. Scattered thunderstorms around by afternoon. The high 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, we'll get right up to the Yellowwood hotline. Chase, I think I told you this maybe a month ago, but
take a nap.
You were just talking to the NABC District 6 Coach of the Year, Ohio Valley Coach of the Year in 76 or 8, I can't see that. 2-time SEC Coach of the Year, which was at 84 and 88, which Dad was coaching then, so he won that over him. CAA Coach of the Year in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you? Congratulations on all
good. How's everybody there?
Hey, Sonny.
Hey, well.
What time are you going to the game Saturday?
Let me see. Quick as I can get my hand on the button will be about 5 minutes before it starts.
You not go?
I have to turn that TV on. Is it on TV?
You're not going to the game? Yes, you're going. You don't even know what time the game is.
In my situation with things I have to take care of, the game is not on my list right now.
The game's at 9:30 or 10 on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll try to get up by then. Yeah. Oh, it's at night. Oh, I thought it was in the morning.
6:30. 6:30.
You're getting a good report on the Auburn Tigers today.
The Alabama A&M coming in. Yeah, that's not fair for y'all to be playing Alabama A&M.
What do you think beat y'all, Sonny, like New Mexico did?
Well, you know what? I think they're all prepared for that. They've been talking so good about how good Alabama A&M. They learned that. You build them up, and tear them down. That's the way you do it.
Those guys.
I don't know how good Alabama A&M is. There any reports out that they are worthwhile as a team?
They got 11 players.
No, they ain't no
I think you still have to do that, don't you? And watch the game this year.
Yeah, they got 11 players.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know how good Auburn is. They do a good job of promoting people that the media ask about, but I don't think they overly promote the people that they got. But I think Auburn could be a solid football team.
Well, you've told us what you know about football. Do you know anything at all about NASCAR?
I think they're still running. It's on ovals most of the time, and they run on a road course every once in a while. But where they're running, I'm going to be there. If that television dial will dial me in,
are they running this weekend?
Talladega.
Ooh. They're running at Talladega this weekend?
No, I don't know if it's this weekend, but that's the next race.
Oh.
Yeah, traffic. You better be careful. You driving Atlanta.
Well, Talladega's a great track to go watch. If you're not a NASCAR fan.
That time. I got you a parking place.
Yeah, he did. And he changed. I got him in the best suite in NASCAR. And he gets up and changes the television to a football game while they're trying to run the track and do the race. I couldn't believe that. It embarrassed me in front of all my great NASCAR fans.
Yeah, well, don't take him anymore.
Coach, I won't get him to go anymore.
Last night, Arkansas played Arkansas Pine Bluff, beat them 70-0. Missouri played Murray State, beat them 51-0.
I watched that.
Do you get anything out of those games, Coach, or do you better off playing? And we'll see what happens with Auburn and Alabama. You get a win, obviously, but you don't find out.
You get one more game closer to a bowl is what you get.
Yeah, you get closer to a bowl. But so Alabama's taking on West Kentucky. I think they'll find a little bit out about their team. We'll see about Auburn and Alabama A&M. But I had asked Bill Clark this. We just had him on. I think probably being able to play a lot of guys in that first game, you kind of keep the locker room happy, don't you, for at least another week.
Well, I assume that you would. You don't know how good those teams will be. But I will tell you this. Auburn is not blowing their horn over who's standing out as much as I thought they would in around here and in the newspapers and that type of thing. But I think they're laying. I think they're doing it like Wimp used to, laying the weeds until they come along and jump up with all kind of good things. Yeah. I think Auburn's going to be a good football team. I really do.
Okay. Yep.
You got 5 straight home games, Sonny.
That makes you good. You should know that.
I know that makes it where you could, if you would park them. I've thought about that. If I ever got in sick, but I wouldn't have to be on our show to make. Get somebody else to park them, Sonny, and don't give them half. Act like you're giving them half. Charge them 20 and give them 5.
Yeah. And sell a little moonshine on the side. Boy, I can make some money. I thought about that before.
Well, when you first used to do this show, you used to park cars at your house. You don't do that anymore?
Oh, yeah. You used to have to do that. Anymore, the parking must have achieved a greater success from a standpoint of availability than they used to. Because if they were parking all over town in yards, people were making money off that. I don't think it's that way quite as much as it used to be, because I think the parking availability is a lot better than it used to be at all.
Yep.
Well, anything about Auburn basketball that you know? I know your head coach has been a little bit controversial politically, Jewish guy. And any thoughts on Auburn basketball at all now?
There's no injuries.
Going to Alabama. So.
Yeah, there's no injuries. Playing very well as a team. Very pleased with the progress of the team. But there's absolutely nothing around here from as far as publicity is concerned coming out. He's not been interviewed a lot, but I think they're going to be a solid basketball team. The only question they're going to have is the depth as good as it needs to be? If the depth is as good as it needs to be, we'll have another solid year at Auburn.
Well, Barry went to Alabama's practice, and the point guard that Alabama got from Auburn, he said he shot the lights out that day.
Well, he shoots. If they let him take as many shots as he'd wanted to, he probably would have shot better here. But having to play the point as well as the second guard, he had to give the ball up a little bit more. I don't know where they're going to play him at Alabama, but wherever they play him, you've got to let him take shots. Now, he has to take shots to play at his best. He plays really solid defense, and he's quick. But they got to give him shots, and I'm sure they'll do that because their offense sets it up for all 5, as far as I've always seen.
We got a young producer here with us, Coach Chase, and he doesn't know the money that you and Dad used to command across the state speaking at these quarterback clubs. You guys set the record. Do they still call y'all to come speak at these clubs, or they think y'all?
No, we call. We've dropped down to a point where we call them.
Do they answer? Do they ever answer?
No, hey. The quarterback clubs are not as big as they used to be from the standpoint of there's not as many of them. And the reason being, I would totally assume, is memberships are hard to come by to get them there because of the times that they have to have the clubs. But I would assume that they're still solid and still have the same speakers. But Wimp and I are not called as much. I knew more about football than Wimp did, so I got to do a couple of those.
We did have done the Huntsville Quarterback Club for 30 years.
30 years. They're going to let us out this year?
I don't know if we're going back this year or not. Probably not.
If you hadn't heard, it's probably not a good sign.
Well, we got a call.
Do I need to break the news to you?
Hey, if they told us to call them collect.
It's always Tuesday of the Alabama-Auburn football game.
We'll be there, I guarantee you.
Well,
you can't do without the best acts you've ever had.
Yeah.
And not that I brag on us or anything, but one of us has to. Wimp was never be that.
Those acts go to the bottom. Our acts are not as good as they used to be on the radio. Radio, we never even had any guests. We walk in Barry and turn to each other. So we're going to talk about today. I knew what was going to
made it up as we went, but. We'd have got to go back more if Wimp could have found the quarterback club. He could never find where it was. He got us lost every time we went to Huntsville.
Maybe that's why they let y'all go.
Yeah, getting there late.
Yeah. Did Dad ever do it in the car on 280?
Oh yeah, we did it on the car. One of our best shows ever was a snowstorm.
280.
One car out of another. Yeah,
that's exactly right. We broke the record.
Yeah.
Wimp and Sonny on the hardwood, on the highway.
There you go. Any pressure on Hugh Freeze year two? There's always pressure at Auburn, isn't it, Coach? I
think so.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you asked that question. I have not heard one negative thing about Hugh Freeze yet. And the thing about it, you don't hear as much talk positively. You don't hear anything. Unless you're taking papers from out of state or the Birmingham and Montgomery papers, you don't hear very much around here until things get going. But I think everybody's sitting with a cocked gun, waiting to find something wrong, because I think they haven't been able to do that. I think he's got a solid team coming on.
Yeah. Dad, anything else for Coach? Coach, you watched?
I had enough.
Had enough. Why do you even take his phone call?
He's always been my best friend. He's one of the nicest people I ever met. He treats me with tremendous respect, and when he introduces and talks about me in the clubs, he builds me up real good. Who are we talking about? Mac McCarthy or Wimp? I forget which one. Huh?
When's the last time you've been to Rome Mountain?
Lord have mercy, I couldn't find it. It's been so long I couldn't find it. Somebody asked me that same thing the other day. My brother said he wouldn't recognize me if I come.
You got any new jokes for us, Coach?
Oh Lord, I wish I had one. Somebody other.
Don't let him give out his old ones.
But I'm not going to give out anything because I'm saving it for the big one. I'm saving it for the big one.
I give new stuff at Jimmy Raines.
No, you're saying jokes every year.
What do you mean? Wimp's the one did that, not me.
What is he going to say?
Why do I take the blame?
I went to the dentist. They said you got yellow teeth. What do you need to do? Wear a brown tie. He tells that one. That was not funny.
They all laugh at it.
I still like it. That was Wimp that told that, not me.
I like the one you tell about the peanuts.
Yeah. I would tell it. Next time I'm on your show,
that's terrible.
If your ratings are still up, I'll tell it on next show.
You got some good jokes. They're pretty good.
That's a terrible joke.
Hey, listen. I can just tell a joke and it's funny because I'm noted as being a comedian.
I think I'll take a nap. Yeah.
What did he say then? He's talking so low today. What is he, growing old or something?
But since y'all been talking, Chase has had 3 quarterback clubs call him. Wanting y'all to
tell us not to come. Are they calling tell us to come or not to come?
Not to come.
Well, we'll tell you later. We don't want to hurt your feelings.
All right, Sonny. I hope things going okay at home. We'll talk to you next week.
Well, we will. Good to talk to you guys always.
All right.
Have fun
hopefully
today.
You guys beat Alabama A&M. That'd be bad if you did.
I just now found out we're playing them. We're ready for them.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
See you later.
Just what would happen, Dad and Chase, just if Western Kentucky came in here and pulled the upset?
Everything we started out, I told you so.
Because I hear, Martin's show, they talk about the coaching staff and last year's staff, and this, that, and the other. Of course, they did win the SEC championship, I do believe. But what if Western Kentucky came in? Would the honeymoon be over for Coach DeBoer and his staff if Western Kentucky came here and pulled the upset?
It would. I don't know if it'd be over or not, but it might not be a bed in the honeymoon run.
God. I mean, it's not going to happen, I don't think. There's no way that can happen.
Well, what about 31? You like 31? You told me to stay away from the big bets.
Yeah,
big scores.
It's like I looked at that line last night, and the guy was asking me what game that I like. I said, man, Murray State in 50? Surely they can score one time. They lost 51-0. Yeah. So these people that do these lines, and it was 45 when we were doing our show, and it went to 50, and they won. You think that coach knew it was 50, and it was 48-0? They just kicked that field goal down there just to push it right on over the line, thinking that. You think these coaches know what the line is?
Do I think so? Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I don't know that that enters into it at all, but I do think there are coaches. I can tell you for sure the assistant coaches do.
Well, I can tell you, like when I was in South Carolina, I mean, you're on the road. You wake up the next morning, you go down to Brett, you check the line just to see what they think your chances are. Sometimes you get shocked by what you see.
That's the reason I do it on Friday, because I'm afraid I'll get.
But the line changes. Wherever you get it at is what you get it at. So you don't change, because if you pick it and the line's 25, then you got 25. It goes up, down, whatever, you got 25. But it's no problem. All right, let's tell them about Bryant Bank and get to break.
Well, Bryant Bank, we talk about that each and every day. Bryant Bank's outstanding bank locations, a lot of them 4 in Tuscaloosa and several in Birmingham and Columbiana and different places in the state. Opened up in Tuscaloosa, I think, 2005. Do everything they possibly can to be sure that it's an enjoyable experience for you, to be darn sure that your money is safe. You can bank online all night if you want to. You can go in if you need money for certain things. They've got people that help you. Head banker who will know you by your first name after you've been there once. Same area code, same zip code, except the ones down in Mobile. And hopefully that you'll go by there and tell me you heard on Inside the Locker Room. I think that if you're looking for a new bank, if you're moving into Tuscaloosa, or if you have another money matter that you want to put somewhere else, then I think Bryant Bank is the place to go. So go by and tell me you heard on Inside the Locker Room.
All right, I got people. Everybody give me suggestions on Jenny and the ticket, but nobody's sending tickets, Chase. So you need to send them my way. You can call Chase. Come on, guys.
Are they going to want to go to the Georgia game too?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Actually, they got a tailgate they're going to do down there for that game. But Jack wants to go to the Georgia game. Jack
wants everything.
Yeah, Jack can go to watch it on TV. Jack's actually going to the game tomorrow. So, all right, he's in a box. All my kids have access to boxes. Jenny don't ever get invited to the box. Yeah, so.
Is that free? What he can do is he can bring you some free food down there to you.
You got to bring it to the house, because I'm not going to be going, remember. And then Logan's in a box. Everybody's in a box. And then Jenny's going to be in the upper deck. I'll probably be in trouble if I get her in the upper deck, though, Chase. Can you imagine? She said it was Coach DeBoer's first game. Does that matter? They're going to play it on TV, aren't they, on ESPN?
Next week's going to be a second game.
Where's Tim Tebow? Anybody seeing Tim Tebow?
Still underwear.
You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We got a Lulu over here on 2059 northeast lanes at Buttermilk Road. Watch out for this accident. That's not too shabby. I don't see any severe delays, but I do see where you're slowing down just a notch on Buttermilk on that northbound hookup to 2059. Otherwise, traffic is moving pretty smoothly.
Makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Townsquare Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Need to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Line. I want to thank Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. I'm looking right here at the website. I can pull up all the new inventory, the pre-inventory. I can schedule a service. I want to rent a car for the weekend. I can do that as well. Everything you need to do right there on the website. You can swing by Skyland Boulevard. Justin, David, they'll take great care of you over there. So swing by Skyland Boulevard or go to TuscaloosaToyota.com or tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. All right, I'll tell you what.
It's going to be.
Do you want to do it now? Or you want to take one more break and then let you do it and finish up the show?
We can do it. We'll take calls on people disagreeing with me.
Well, let me real quick run down maybe some of the.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about all the games.
Okay, well, go ahead then. Let's talk about what you looked at and where you landed.
Of the games where the number is real big for the opponent, for the home team, which I really, in this particular game, I think it's going to win. I'm not going to take it, but I think the best bet of the teams that are just 42 and 38 and, all big scores is Tennessee and Chattanooga. Tennessee's got a quarterback that's going to throw it a lot. Tennessee wants to be really impressive with what they do, score a lot of points. They're very offensive-minded. Their defense is somewhat better. I didn't blue plate it.
38.5.
38.5. But I felt like, and looking at it, that of all the ones that were big numbers, that is the best one. So you're going to say to me when you call in, why didn't you take it then? Well, I didn't, but that's what I think, because I felt like I should take one that everybody's a little bit more interested in. I mentioned this yesterday, and I think this is a game that people need to look at. I'm not telling you to take it. 13.5 with Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt doesn't have any. I think it's 12.5 now. Maybe it's 13.5.
I'm looking.
I think it's 13.5, son. Vanderbilt not getting any transfers at all because the program has been bad, and they're having a.
But JC said they got New Mexico's quarterback.
Who's that? Vanderbilt does.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so maybe they're good. I don't know.
That's New Mexico.
Virginia Tech is supposedly be better than they've been in a long time. I looked at that one pretty strongly. I thought about taking it, and I backed off on it a little bit. But those were two of the games. One with a big number, and one with a medium sized number as far as the favorites were concerned. I'm going to tell you, folks, it's hard to pick.
That's why Vegas puts it like that.
Yeah, that's right. Ole Miss 42.5 points at home against Furman, and Alabama 31 on a new coach who wants to do well, and it's just Memphis is 38 on North Alabama. Auburn's 47 on Alabama A&M. I kind
of like his South Carolina line. It's 21 against Old Dominion.
Yeah. Somebody's calling me.
Somebody trying to tell you not to pick.
I don't know.
Might make a quarterback club calling.
Yeah, maybe the quarterback club might probably not calling me. Although they have called me to be on. Kentucky 27 against Southern Miss. Georgia and Clemson.
That line has gone down, guys, to 11.5 I got right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Georgia, both of Georgia's running backs are out. I think that's probably a pretty solid bet if you want to take Georgia. I had all week. I decided I was going to take Georgia, and I changed my mind. You know how I am about mental preparation. I think if you're better mentally, if you stay excited during the game, even if you're down, they help you mentally. You have a better chance to win. I took Texas A&M. Now I think it's probably gone to 3. It was 2.5 when I looked at it. I guess.
Yeah, Texas A&M -3.
I guess. And the reason I did is that I think that with a new coach and a new excitement and a new home field advantage, that they're a plus. Now, Notre Dame has got a quarterback. It's got some Georgia ties. I got all that.
Well, he's from Fairhope.
Yeah, Fairhope, Alabama. But he's got some Georgia. You know, I felt like was the best. I felt like that being a low number and them playing at home in the first time, everybody's excited about a new era in football at A&M. That they would, and Notre Dame being Notre Dame, because regardless of if you beat them, you've done something, because everybody thinks about Notre Dame as one of the top teams, whether they are or not. So I ended up taking Notre Dame in this game as the blue plate.
Whoa, you took Texas A&M, right?
I mean A&M as the blue plate, and made me feel a little bit better yesterday when JC said, they weren't coached as great. Notre Dame wasn't. Yesterday, though, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I'm not waffling on this bet, on this pick. I think it's the right pick, but we'll see if I'm doing correct. There are a lot of people now that Barry's mentioned the line dropping to 11.5.
I would say you should grab Clemson at 13.5. That game's gone down 2 points in 24 hours. So, all right, Chase, get that.
I should have grabbed Clemson at 13.5. You thought?
Well, I'm just saying if anybody's going to take Clemson, they were 13.5 yesterday, and it's gone down 2 points. So something's going on there. I guess all the money's gone in on Georgia, so they had to drop that line there. Or no, it's going on Clemson, so they had to drop the line. All right, so that blue plate special, Chase will get that to us, brought to you by Chuck Norwood and the RE/MAX Realty team of Gulf Shores. Buy it or sell and contact the Chuck Norwood team for all your Gulf Shores real estate needs.
I appreciate Chuck taking us. I don't know that it's it is what I think it is, and these things are darn hard to pick, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, so Chuck's been in business down there over 33 years. So you want to sell your place down there, you want to buy a place for you, then contact Chuck and his staff, 251-948-1212, or go to chucknorwood.com. I would take the break. Got a phone call too coming in. Maybe Digger's on hold. Maybe Digger's going to be mad you picked the Aggies. Who's Texas play? Oh, they got Colorado State, I think. Is that right?
Colorado State's not bad.
Yeah, Texas is a big, big favorite in this particular game. All right, you listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
One day closer to the University of Alabama kicking off a new era under Kalen DeBoer. We've got you covered. We're going to get you ready for the big game. SEC Parlay Pick Contest presented by Brian Harden Construction. We'll also feature Brent Beard, Lee Sterling, and Rodney Orr. Join us this afternoon starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We got a Lulu over here on 2059 northeast lanes at Buttermilk Road. Watch out for this accident. That's not too shabby. I don't see any severe delays, but I do see where you're slowing down just a notch on Buttermilk on that northbound hookup to 2059. Otherwise, traffic is moving pretty
Or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A partly sunny sky today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms developing again this afternoon and early tonight. The high today 95, tonight's low 73. Tomorrow a mix of sun and clouds. Scattered thunderstorms around by afternoon. The high 93. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I get right up to the Yellowwood hotline, get Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
Hey, Digger. Barry.
Yes, sir.
Let me coach you up on your marital status here.
Help me, Digger.
First of all, asking that question is a huge setup. That's almost as bad as "do you think I'm fat?" question.
Yeah.
Do not give her any leeway, because all something has to do is go wrong in that stadium and she's going to blame it on you. You're giving her an out to blame it on you.
Oh, so I shouldn't have asked.
This is what you do. No, you just say, Jenna, just like Par Stump. Jenna.
Jenna.
Shrimp boat. Jenna. Shrimp boat's in the marina, and I got to ice it down. And you go and reach for that remote. That's what you got to do, buddy.
You think I'm going to be in the dog
set
house?
Yourself up for this.
Yeah, it's a long weekend, too. There's a lot of games on this weekend as well. So, hey, I mean, she shouldn't have asked Mac if he wanted to go. What do you think? It's going to be hot. He's going to be wanting to leave at halftime. It's a mistake, but she's not listening.
That
Digger.
is her son, right?
Yeah, she's not listening.
She probably thinks it's a great idea to raise your son in Bryant Denny.
Well, it's her idea. It's not my idea. It's her idea. So.
Yeah. And by the way, Wimp, I like this pick. I like this pick. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I'm not going to ask Doug Bell if he likes it.
Do you like my pick? Real quick, you need to know this. Everybody in the state of Texas have a problem with Notre Dame. We got a lot of Catholics in the state of Texas, and they got a huge problem with Notre Dame. It's A&M or Texas. No Notre Dame. Okay? So, yeah.
So you like the
Let
pick.
it be known.
How about
the state of Texas do not like Notre Dame.
How about this Texas minus 32? What do we do with that, Digger? It's a lot of points, isn't it?
He did say he wanted a fast start. I'm going to take his word for it, take the points and run with it.
32? Oh.
I know. It's an air raid, too. It's an air raid. They score. You got to work. You got to kind of take that into factor. If you're playing an air raid, they're going to score.
Of all the games in the SEC, I like South Carolina minus the 21 against Old Dominion.
Of course.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Why do y'all play these powder puff games? And especially, I know, hey, look, you're not pulling this one over my eyes. I saw what y'all did. You moved your pillow fight from week 11 to week 10. That doesn't count, man. That doesn't count.
Texas has got... Nick Saban had it wrong. Texas has the easiest schedule in the SEC, not Missouri. Digger.
Oh, please.
So.
Do you want to, again, I'm going to bring this up. Do you want to play Oklahoma, Georgia back-to-back, or do you want to play Auburn and
Oklahoma? I think it's Auburn,
Oklahoma back-to-back.
Yeah, but you got to go to Oklahoma. You don't get to play them in the friendly of Dallas or Fort Worth or wherever y'all play that stupid red.
Let's play Dallas. Friendly? There's nothing friendly about going to Dallas.
Yeah, you're on a neutral field. You have half the people there.
It's neutral. It's not a home game.
Well, it's not a road game. Alabama's going to Oklahoma.
Game, buddy.
Alabama's going
You're
to Oklahoma.
You're not in the friendly confines when you go to Dallas.
All right, I got to get out. We got to get Gary in here. Thank you, sir. All right, the blue plate's in. Texas A&M -3. The line will probably start shifting around now, but it is what it is. The Gary Harris Show is next. We'll be off Monday. We'll be back Tuesday morning. So you guys have a great, safe holiday weekend. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.